They watch the show, and I don't even have to be in an episode, and they come to my Instagram to talk crap about something they, watched 4 episodes ago. So it's a lose-lose for me.
You know what? You made a fair you made a fair argument there, because you are a reality star. So we're already watching your life unfold on TV. But when me and your publicist were talking, you have a lot of other things outside of what's currently happening with your child's father and his new girlfriend. So, and we're definitely going to get into all of that. But when your publicist talking, she's like, make sure I want to focus on that more. And I'm like, I would love to focus on that more, but I think sometimes the reason why what's happening with Fizz and Apryl is still a conversation when it comes with you is because you still give
reactive.
Yeah, you still react to it.
Yeah, well, even when it comes to the live that you're talking about the other night in my kitchen, when I was talking about Cam and failing 3rd grade and the dentist, there's a lot that I've kept to myself because, out of protection for Cameron. And it's like, you see how when I say the reasons why my son's father and I need to be on better speaking terms, right? Then I'm criticized and I'm, quote, throwing my son under the bus. But you see how if I don't say anything, I'm using my son as an excuse to strike up a conversation with his father. So again, I lose no matter what. Everyone, I implore, I dare, I challenge. I will give somebody $500 in cold hard cash if they can show me, don't tell me. Literally, you show me one person from season 1 of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood until season 6 that's currently airing now. One person that they love to hate more than me. No matter what I do right, there is no one on my cast, there has been no one on my cast that the public has loved to hate more than me. I am damned if I do, I am damned if I don't. If I'm quiet, I'm embarrassed. Oh, that shut her right up. If I'm verbal and I'm speaking out, I'm saying too much. But when you watch the show, it's all good when I'm fighting with somebody. It's all good that, the edit made me look nuts. It's all good that I'm breaking down in tears. But don't be on cloud 9 off camera. And don't have a mental breakdown off camera, because that's just, now you're doing too much. So the public gets to pick and choose what they want to see, what they want to hear, how they want it delivered. And at this point, quite frankly, I just don't really give an F word anymore. Right.
And maybe this isn't fair to say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. So from the seat that I sit in, when I watch it, I feel as though there's pain, which is validated. I think there would be pain validated of Fizz and Apryl now being in a relationship. And we can respond to that.
I have no negative feelings about them being in a relationship.
I think that's true.
It's true. When Cameron first told me, let's take it back to 2017. Pictures of Drew and Apryl surfaced online. I never said a word to him. I never said a word to her. Because I didn't care. Like when blogs were like, oh, is this true? I was like, how the fuck would I know? I don't even really speak to the father of my child. And me and Apryl are not best friends, but we're not enemies, but that's not my place. Whatever. And I actually privately would defend them because I was like, I don't think they'd be that morally, bankrupt. Like, I don't think that they would be that dumb. Like, maybe it's for attention. I don't know. And on with my life. You know what I mean? And when Cameron started telling me, like, oh, when my dad gets stressed out, we go spend the night there, I still didn't think anything of it. And I had no concerns because my interaction with Apryl at that point had always been respectful. I knew her to be a very attentive and hands-on mom. At that point, I think I had heard that she and O were no longer together, but I didn't see them tearing each other up online. And I even remember thinking to myself, like, damn, like, I wish Drew and I could be in that type of, space. And so when Cameron volunteered that that's not his dad's girlfriend, I text Apryl and said, girl, the funniest thing happened tonight at dinner. This is what Cam said. And my response was, if your dad were to have a girlfriend, I would want it to be somebody like Apryl. She's nice to you and she's nice to me.
Can I just jump in, though? I don't think if you say you're not hurt by it.
No.
But if you are hurt by it, I don't think that's a bad thing. Because I think that's validated in a situation where, I don't have any children, but I have a lot of sympathy for single moms. Because what happens is you have your son, he lives with you, he's with you 24/7.
We have joint.
Okay, you have joint?
We have joint physical and legal.
Okay,
one week with me, 1 week with dad. So
Okay.
we share equal time and equal financial burden and responsibility.
Okay, so that's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but what I was saying with the single mom situation sometimes is the child's father might go off and be with another woman and then has like this family dynamic. And you had a baby by this man, but y'all didn't have that family dynamic. It didn't work out. But now you kind of see him with another woman and being, a family man with her.
What does that have to do with me, though?
You talk about them, though. You talk about Fizz and Apryl.
I talk about the disrespect that I endure, not about their dynamic. Their dynamic doesn't affect me. Their dynamic affects my son. Whether that's good, then it will affect him in a healthy manner. If it's a negative family dynamic, it will affect him or impact him in an emotionally negative way. Their dynamic, their interaction has zero impact on my life, my emotional well-being, or my mental well-being. That's the narrative that Love and Hip Hop wanted to push. In real life, don't disrespect me. I don't care who you are, how you came to be. That's none of my business. I am not, contrary to popular belief, the baby mama that pries into her baby daddy's personal life. And if I wanted the family dynamic, don't get it fucked up, that could have been my life. I didn't want that. I left him. And I'm the type of person that when I choose to leave, you have to know that at that point, my emotional and my I call it my love valve, it's off. It's never coming back on. Like, once I emotionally disassociate, that's it. So intimate feelings for him, longing for him, wanting a family with him, that died when I was 22.
Okay.
3 weeks after having my son.
Well, do you know, can you receive how the perception, it doesn't feel that way? Because I'll use Omarion. You know, Omarion's getting just so much. And again, we're talking about social media. I know you're a real person. You got real shit going on. So really what we think shouldn't matter. But you're a reality star, and that's what the conversation is, and you're putting your life out there. So from a social media stance, everyone's like, Omarion is good. Like, he is not talking about this. He's not giving it any energy. He answered that one question. I have zero feelings. And from how we see him reacting, we believe that. It's hard to believe you're just as chilled as Omarion when we see your actions differently.
Well, I'm not just as chill as Omarion.
Okay.
And I say it all the time.
So you are bothered.
I'm not Omarion. So when I'm continually disrespected, and see, O is also not on the show.
Right.
So he doesn't have that kind of pressure.
But now, the things I wanted to talk to you about are more so the things I saw on social media. So not even on the show. Because, like I said, I wanted to talk to you when I saw the thing you put out there about your son and how you text Apryl and all of that.
Okay, so let's break this down into two parts.
Okay.
Omarion is not on the show. That is an added pressure. And if you notice that when we are on a hiatus, meaning when our show goes off air, we start filming before the next franchise is even done airing. Like, they're filming simultaneously. So technically we are filming 2 seasons in a year. We begin 2 seasons. So I say that to say that we get 2 months off. So it seems like 10 months off to you guys, because that's the time it takes for us to come back on between seasons. There's 2 months where we get a break. You understand? So it's like Love and Hip Hop New York is going to come on after us, right? They're going to forget about us. And then we'll be accused whenever we go through a real scenario in life and we react, if it makes a blog, right? If it trumps whatever the Love and Hip Hop New York and Miami cast are doing, and it makes it to the Shade Room or Gossip of the City or this one or that one, right? Then we're trying to stay relevant. Oh, it's a storyline. Oh, it's this, it's that. It's like we can't just have a life. Like, shit can't just happen to us. Like, some bitch is going through the same shit who actually does have feelings for her baby daddy, but she only has 300 followers and nobody knows about her and nobody cares. No one's invested. So
we're all crazy to think that.
I'm not saying that you're crazy to think that. What I'm saying is I have to go on camera and then I have to fight with production about, this is not, why are you making it about this? we have a story meeting and a story call, and we have a pre-production meeting, and you ask me questions about what I think and what I feel. So again, let's go back to 2017. Let's go back to 2018 when my son is now telling me these things. And I've never said a word publicly or privately because I'm not affected by that. But now you're sitting here asking me, well, what about Apryl? What about her? Well, she's on Hollywood Unlocked. Okay. You know, do you think she and Fizz are dating? I don't think that they would be that morally bankrupt. I'm sorry, I don't. And it was like they all knew something that I didn't.
Right.
So, but I can't react to something that I don't know. Now, Apryl and I had our spat, which I said, the issue is not you, it's the father of my child. What kind of made my wheels turn was she began questioning me, almost like interrogating me about what the issue with Drew is. Why does that matter to you? Do I ask you what your issues with O are? They're none of my business. And I'm telling you right now that what I'm feeling in the moment is about the way that he does not communicate. How I literally was lied to get my son so he could get our son for Christmas. That's not cool, right? So going into the season, I shot the scene with Apryl, genuinely apologized. She apologized to me. We left that scene laughing, hand in hand, texting, chit-chatting, now coordinating as co-parents. I never asked about she and Drew. Never. And she admitted that several times on camera, but that wasn't the narrative that Love and Hip Hop wanted to push. As a matter of fact, they called me and said, the network doesn't like that you and Apryl made up so fast, so we need to reshoot that. It wasn't spicy enough. Like, what? So I said...
You guys were good.
We were good. So I said, put the battery in her back. Because you guys know just what to tell these motherfuckers, what to say, what to do to really trigger a real response. I will respond according to what's said to me. Because if you go back to the live, the IG live with she and I, she was yelling at me. She was hype with me. I was over talking her. Yes, because you're not listening. You're rah, 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 rah for nothing. Like, you overstepped your bounds. I said your comment on social media was, you deserve to be slapped for that because you only have one side. And you have my number. You could have called me because this was never about you. But now you want to call me. Now that we done made the vlogs, don't talk to me offline. Because I get lied on all the time. So if I could comment publicly, you could comment publicly. We'll have the conversation publicly.
What space are you guys in right now? Because you told me that you're telling me their relationship together does not bother you.
No.
So are you guys cordial, or probably friends isn't the word?
No, we're not cordial. I hope and pray that we can get there because as I get tagged in clips of her interviews, literally everything she's saying she's gone through is everything I'm going through. So just lack of communication with her, with O. She only gets $700 a month. I get $0.
So because you guys have joint, so he has when your son's with him, he has to take care of him.
Right.
Okay.
And even if we didn't have joint and I were primary on paper, I still would never ask him for child support. I wasn't raised that way.
Well, no, I mean you can have your own feelings. I'm 100%. For women getting child support when they're raising a child, because if the father's not there, you need help. I mean,
I get it.
To help
I get
it.
But something in me just never. I don't want that.
Right.
Again, like my love valve it's off. So when I separate, I don't want anything from you.
So let me ask you this. So as a person that follows you on Instagram, and when you go on live, and when I saw the video about your son being in the failing the third grade, as a person that's watching you, what do you want me to get from that? Like, what are you trying to convince me of when I see, because what I'm telling you, the way I'm receiving it is, I want to hug this girl. Like, I want her to let this go. She's a beautiful girl. She's talented. She's could sing. You have true gifts that God has blessed you with, and I feel like a lot of your energy is still in this statement, like in this situation. It's like I want to lock you in a room with Sierra, and I want Sierra to tell you whatever she did to say, you know what, I'm the shit, fuck Future. I'm gonna go out here and be the baddest woman in the world.
You keep going back to the baby daddy elements? Remove him.
But you don't remove him. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I can't remove him. We have a child together. There's no removing him.
Right.
So at the end of the day, there is a line of communication that has to happen. I'm not going to go to court. I want to, But my son's too old for that now. Mm-hmm. And keep in mind, I didn't take him to begin with. He took me. So when I hear Apryl bitching about the fact that she got served papers on Mother's Day, so what? I got served papers at 6 a.m. while I was breastfeeding and Drew was laying in my bed at my parents' house. Not helping me, but even in the same physical space. So who cares? I sacked up. I did what the hell I had to do as a single mom, and that's just it. But I don't like the narrative that is being pushed and that has been pushed for 6 years on reality TV, and I'm not going to be quiet anymore. You don't respect me. You have never respected me. Don't say you gave me a platform. Let's be honest. Me being on Love and Hip Hop didn't have shit to do with him. It actually came because all the cast from season 1 were my friends. Long before Love and Hip Hop was ever even thought of in Hollywood. I was off the grid. I was walking to and from a 9 to 5. I literally was walking to the grocery store when I got the call from casting. And what they said to me was the craziest thing. I said, what? Your name has come up since the beginning of this process. You know Morgan Hardman, you know Ray J, you know Hazel, you know this one, you know that. Literally, you know the entire cast. Mm. You even know Omarion. Do you know Apryl? No. When Omarion and I actually had communication and we did keep, running into each other, that was the beginning of he and Apryl's relationship. I never met Apryl. Had disappeared after that, as you probably should when you're in a relationship, right? And it wasn't like he and I were friends. We literally just kept crossing paths. Right. So she was like, well, you had a deal with Con Live. And I said, yeah. She said, well, when we Googled you, your stage name, Callie, came up. But no one had a working phone number on you. And then Omarion gave us Fizz. And when he came in, he gave us your information. We Googled you, and you just so happened to be Callie. Right. But we've been looking for you. So it had nothing to do with him.
So let me ask you. So I asked you this question, but I don't think I might have cut you off before you answer it. When you go on the live rants, what do you?
Oh no, I didn't answer. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Like, what is your goal in that moment?
My goal.
What do you want me as a person that's watching you to get from these lives? You want me to feel sympathy?
No, I don't want sympathy. I'm tired of the victim label. What I want is for people to start listening. Stop listening to what you see on reality TV, because I'm telling you a million times over, when I sit down and I talk to them, or I sit down and I film these scenes, I'm not ever focused on the two of them. If anyone is paying attention, or if they have half a brain, they clearly hear me state time and again, stop disrespecting me. Why is it now that when you, Apryl, come out about being in a relationship with Drew, all of a sudden you're disrespectful, but 2 weeks ago we were saying we were going to get together for lunch? I'm lost. Like, why are you in my face asking me or stating, you guys aren't friends, what could you possibly have to talk about? I don't know, dumbass. Maybe the human we created, who at the time was in summer school for not passing 3rd grade. Mm-hmm. Who at that time I had told his father he needs to go to the dentist because he has a lot of work that he needs done. I never got a text back. Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of things that needed to be discussed that are none of your fucking business.
Like my business,
right?
No,
Apryl's.
April's business.
So, and they're not the world's business. But how many times am I going to get beat down? How much hate mail am I going to get? How many times?
What does it say?
Basically, I'm shocked you haven't killed yourself yet. Bitch, you don't deserve to be a mom. Your son should be embarrassed of you. When are you just going to jump already? Damn. Blah, blah. Like, I get real hate mail.
That's terrible.
So, again, people just need to shut up and listen. Like, there's a child here who I have bit my tongue and sat on my hands and took the bullet and took the heat for many, many years. And it's not that I'm not willing to protect my son, but what I'm not going to do anymore is continue to be disrespected. I'm not going to be unheard. And if I have to die trying, that's what I'm going to do in order to get the father of my child to understand this is about one thing and one thing only.
So do you think
Stop disrespecting me. Stop letting your bitches disrespect me. It's really quite simple.
But guess what? That might not happen.
And it might not. It might not. But again, there's people who also don't know my upbringing and the way that I was raised. In this family, they're like failure in any form, fashion, any facet of your life is never an option. My mother tried to mend fences with my biological father until season 2, 2016 of this show. Literally.
Would you say that I know this is a stressful place, but would you say that you're in a happy space right now?
I'm getting there.
You're getting there.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Now that I know that the show is over, and see, that's the other thing. I get thoroughly confused with Drew because he'll apologize on camera, and then he'll throw like a dig in there. Season 5, he was dating my ex-girlfriend's ex-best friend, and says to me, you know, I'm sorry for putting out there to the world, this, that, and the third. You're a great mom. You know, we've been working well together as co-parents. And now I realize that I'll never be able to have a relationship, or I should just stay single. And I went into, have I ever pried into your personal life? He said no. Well, that didn't make the edit. Because, see, that's not the narrative that they want to push. They don't want to push the narrative that I don't bother this man for money. I don't bother this man about who's been around my son. I don't do that. So if I never get that respect, I'll know that at least well into however many years until I just got tired of fighting for it, that at least I tried. And it's not for my own. I don't want that for myself. I want that so that my son doesn't have to continue to feel like, oh, I can't tell my mom what's going on at Apryl and my dad's, or he can't tell his dad what's going on over at my house, or, you know, when my son loves to go on Instagram Live with me. People are ruthless and heartless, so I sit there, but I might have to go to the bathroom. You know, when I come back, he's in the middle of reading comments. Like, one night somebody said, how do you feel about your dad's new girlfriend? And he was in the middle of reading the comment out loud, and he said, oh, how do you feel about your dad's new? And I was like, your dad's new what? Because I was going to block the person. And he was like, my dad's new house. Well, I have super supporters on there who had screenshotted the comment and circled it and said, block this person, because several times they were asking Cameron about, you know, Drew and Apryl. And to see your 9-year-old feel like he didn't want to read that comment because of how you might feel is berserk.
I know how much I could tell you love your son. Like,
absolutely.
like, you know, there's no question with that, and he is the most important person in your life. Do you regret going on live and telling us all that he failed the third grade in order to make a point about? Because I felt like I don't. Okay, so let me tell you how I received it. I felt like, and you're making a point in Drew and April's behavior. Your son was like, I don't want to use the word a victim, but he was like a piece of the pond, because now we know he failed third grade. Kids could be mean. They could tease him about that. We know about his mouth, you know, his dentist. So it's almost like, in order for me to prove that these two people, Apryl and Fizz, aren't the best people in the world, I'm going to use a situation with my son. And I know you don't want him to be teased about.
No, I would never.
So you don't regret doing that?
No. So if you watch a majority of my lives, then you know that my son, because I'm his mother and my mother's his grandmother and my father's his grandfather and my group, so on and so the whole family,
yes.
We don't have a filter.
Okay.
I was live last night and Cameron decided to tell us that he was going through puberty. Like, he just blurted it out. Like, he has hair on his scrotum and underneath it on top. This is literally what my son is saying, knowing that I'm live, and he feels comfortable enough. You understand? So he had a whole conversation with his friends about failing third grade at a very expensive private school, by the way, that I said, I'm not going to pay for that. At the time that his father brought that to me, I said, because Cameron's been in public school where they have the No Child Left Behind. And I've literally paid out the ass for tutoring. I'm talking about thousands of dollars. And he only wants to go to this particular public school because his basketball buddies go there. I think it could be a gift and a curse. I have two little cousins that go to this same school, but they've been there since pre-K.
Right.
And I know what this curriculum is and this structure is. Now, here's my issue. Again, before Cameron went to kindergarten in public school, I said to his father, what is our 5-year educational plan? Because I feel like Cameron is the kid that's going to need private school. I want him to have the public school experience. I was in the group. I didn't get to have that. So it's all about what he didn't get to have because of B2K. And so it's like he was living vicariously through Cameron. Well, I did get to have a childhood, a very financially, my parents had money. My parents have money. So, like, I came up with everything. So I had everything growing up.
Right.
You understand? So I didn't want for anything. And I know what that looks like. And I kept telling him, like, everything you don't like in me is a result of two parents who couldn't see eye to eye. Remember that when thinking about Cameron. My lack of ability to focus, I wish I had gone to private school. I think Cameron's going to need private school. Now, cut to, we're about to go into the 3rd grade, and this 8-year-old boy is dictating that he's going to go to this particular private school. So if that's what you want to do, Dad, you want to, just on his whim, he decides he's going to this private, okay, you take care of it then. Because I can tell you what's going to happen right now. He's going from No Child Left Behind, where if he could be failing every subject, he's not being held back.
So I guess this is the thing. I think you have valid points because you're talking about your child, his education, and what I hear is, you and his father co-parenting is really very difficult. It's very complicated.
Way harder than it needs to be.
Right. But, and not taking away from what you're going through because it's real and you're dealing with it. But there's a lot of women out there who also have co-parenting issues with their child's father. And the difference is they figure out a way to make it work, or don't, but they don't give it to the world. Because I feel like one of the reasons why we talk more about your situation with Fizz opposed to your singing career and everything else you have wonderful that's going on is because you still give that more attention.
And I'm not other people and other people aren't me.
That's true.
So but wouldn't
you rather us talk, the conversation be more about what's going on musically?
I would, but again, I'm on Love and Hip Hop.
But that's well, you're still on it now. I know.
It's currently airing.
Right,
my contract is up, and so after the reunion airs, I'm free and clear, thank God. But my point is, it doesn't matter.
I think it matters.
It doesn't matter as long as that show is on air.
Okay.
What I'm doing doesn't matter. I could literally go on live and talk about music. I can go on live and be in the studio. If I'm not spilling tea, if I'm not losing my mind, it doesn't matter. What you see on television has to correlate to what's going on in real life. If those don't match up and it's not salacious enough, it doesn't matter. Which is why I waited last year to drop my album when I did. Because as long as the show is airing, it does not matter. So when that narrative.
So when the show is over, will you stop? Do you think?
Absolutely, I won't feel the need to defend myself much. At that point, it's off air. I don't need. I'll be forgotten about. Like I literally have said to my followers several times, I cannot wait for Love and Hip Hop to go off air, and I can't freaking wait for Love and Hip Hop New York to air. Because I will be an afterthought 3 weeks into their season. I won't even be so much as, I wonder what happened to that girl. And at that moment, I'm impatiently and eagerly awaiting. Because if it's not what's airing, if it doesn't feed, again, I could be completely silent. I'm never going to get the praise that Omarion is getting. Because I'm airing in the complete opposite narrative. That is what you have to understand what people have been given for 6 seasons straight. It's never been true. So I go live and I share my family. I share my son. I say, I'm just like, why is it that I can't say that? When millions of other moms probably go through it. How come I can't say it? Because I'm on TV?
Well, no, I think... Well, you told me you weren't upset by their relationship. So I always felt your feelings were validated in how you felt. I think what it is because you've said it before, and it's like if you say it one time, okay, we get it. I think now the perception is you keep talking about it.
Yeah, and every time I see a lie air on television, I'm going to dispel that with the truth. And again, as it pertains to Cameron, do I feel bad? No. And it's not that I don't worry about my son being this or that. You have to understand the type of child that I'm raising. Nobody knows my son. And my son, willfully and emotionally, is my twin. So that boy in this household, in this family, on my side, is taught to hide nothing about what happens to him, what he sees, what he hears, and who the hell he is. And so he went to school. When I explained to him, Cameron, when you line up for school next year, I need you to hear mommy and hear me clearly. Everyone in your class is going to line up for the 4th grade but you. I don't care. Okay, so I said to his dad, look, I'm paying for the tutoring. You're paying for the tuition. I flew my aunt out here, who's a 2nd grade school teacher, bought her every supply she ever needed, kept her here for a month, housed her, like paid her on top of that. He doesn't care. Because over there, it is dad's failed hoop dreams. It is, I go to an expensive private school with all the who's of who's kids. This one's daughter and this one's son goes to my school, and I'm going to see this one's son at the Midnight Madness. And that's what the focus is over there. And it took him failing the 3rd grade for dad's side to finally say, oh, damn, maybe we should focus more on, you think? All we had to do was get on the same page. When people are like, oh, well, you know, what is it being, da-da-da, it matters. Because if I'm over here driving academics and transparency and honesty, and then he goes over here and we can eat junk food and the snack cabinet is down low so that we don't actually have to stop and get the food for Cameron, or, you know, he can sit on YouTube all day long over there because no one is double checking the homework. No one is saying, write a summary about what you read. No one is up this boy's butt about what he should be doing, right? So it's hurry up and get it done so we can go to practice. Hurry up and get it done. You're going to be late for practice. 3 practices a week. That's the focus, right? So,
but let me ask you this, okay? Because we have, I want to move on to some other things, but this is a person you have a child with, and you're gonna be into his life forever. He may never change in his ways. Like, he may be this type of dad until your son turns 18 and beyond. For me, I guess there's a piece that I want you to kind of reconcile with that, so it doesn't bother you so much in your life. And I don't know if that was I'm not, like, you know, again, I don't have a child, so that could be an ignorant statement to say from a woman who doesn't have a child.
No.
But it's like, I feel like this is, it's heavy. Whether you,
it's heavy.
Yeah, it's like a cloud
it's heavy.
That's like over you. And me personally, I want you to get from under that cloud, be this beautiful girl that you are. I want you to show up with a new man, like, you know, or whatever the case may be that looks like for you, and then that is just truly your past. I want that Sierra story for you.
Yeah, I think that, again, like I said, once the show goes off air,
okay,
I think that I will really be able to actually heal, because I'll be an afterthought,
okay,
and I won't have to deal with all of that. I won't feel the need to defend myself, because what am I defending myself against? And I can kind of fight the battle privately. So I can't wait for that moment. And, you know, and I feel like, again, the way that I was raised, my mom and I, you know, the public saw my mom and I on season 2. We had our fair share of issues. Mm-hmm. We're in a healthier space. It's touch and go. Mm-hmm. We still have a lot to work through and figure out and discuss. But what I will say is, you know, the way that, again, I always go back to my upbringing. This never got properly told on Love and Hip Hop.
I know you mentioned therapy. Are you still in therapy?
Yes, I do my phone sessions. Those are now considered, and I tell my followers all the time, like, if you are struggling, or, you know, now Skype is considered a legal session. Phone sessions are considered legal sessions. So I feel like, you know, I do my phone sessions. I see my psychiatrist. We adjust medication if need be. I'm thinking about tapering off once the show does go off air, because I always feel a million times better during the hiatus. And now that I'm not going back, I think that I'll have a lot more time to actually implement the tools that I have been given, that are time, like, they require my physical time, you know, that I don't have during the season, between trying to record an album, trying to finish the clothing line, trying to start the podcast, but first and foremost, above all of that, Cameron, school, basketball, and the issues that surround co-parenting. So I feel like once that's gone, the cloud can slowly start to go. But again, in terms of my upbringing, my parents have been married for 31 years. hell and high water. My brother's mentally ill. That's not a secret. Lives at home. He just turned 30. I live 4 stoplights away. I'm 32. I call my dad for everything. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So my dad is an amazing role model for my son. And they're 2 peas in a pod, thank God. I know a lot of women don't have that. And as I watched my mom, like I said, until I was well into adulthood, fight to make it right with my father because of the effect that had on me.
But they're together, like...
No, my biological father.
Gotcha.
They are not. My mom and my biological father were never engaged, never married. Right. They haven't been together since I was 6 weeks old. So she still never asked him for child support, never put him on papers, nothing, you know? And so that was the example that I had. And I watched my dad, my stepdad, who is my dad to me, only father I've known since infancy, deal with a shitty co-parent, if you will. My biological father was the shitty co-parent. Right. And I heard too much. I saw too much. And so, again, that is why for 5 seasons I bit my tongue. And then I broke. I fractured. I cracked. I folded. This season, and I couldn't take anymore. And so I am desperate to get back to that place where I can just say, fuck it. But at the end of the day, that's my son. And I know that the discord between his father and I really stresses him. At 9, his anxiety is through the fucking roof over everything. Everything.
Right.
And he will tell me. He tells me. But when he's with his dad, he has to be harder. That's a sign of weakness. Why are you crying? Why are you so... But over on my side, he can break down. He can tell the truth. And there's a lot that I actually don't tell his father that he expresses to me. That I ask my parents, don't tell Drew. I used to tell my ex, don't tell my mom and dad. Or don't tell Drew. Or when you coordinate with Drew for me, don't tell him X, Y, and Z. There is a lot still that I shield my son from. So if it's not something that my son has blurted out on Instagram Live himself, I haven't said it. So again, where you guys think my son was just the innocent bystander in the failing 3rd grade, the dentistry, you don't watch all my lives. I mean, my son blurted out a version of events as to how he got born and the nature of his relationship between his father and I that was given to him by his father.
Right.
That I screen recorded and saved because I was blown away.
Gotcha.
You know, so as he's being given certain information on the other side, and then he blurts it out, this is not even stuff that I'm aware has been, that's been discussed with him. Because I've done my best to shield him from adult content no matter what it is. If I'm arguing with his dad, it's always via text or while he's at school or while he's down the street at my parents', never in front of him. I will never let anyone say, I could want to knock Drew's head off, clean off his shoulders like I do right now. Doesn't matter. You're never going to sit in my face and tell me anything negative about the father of my child. I'm always all for a united front until...
Well, you guys are a reality star, so they're going to see the opposite. Like,
he will.
Might not do it in front of him, but
he will.
It's
and that...
there.
Now, let me tell you, that part, Kendra, that is the part that disturbs me. Is that for many years I held it together, and now I am going to be in the hot seat, which is I was trying to keep myself out of that. Mm-hmm. I always took solace in knowing that Drew would be the only one that Cam would be able to sit down and say, why'd you say that about my mom? And now I'm going to be in that same hot seat. The difference between Drew and I is he going to be able to take accountability? Because I know I can. And in any way that my son is negatively affected that he can express to me, I'll take that. Without excuses, without explanations, without backstories. Because when it comes to my child, the semantics don't matter. All I know is what he says he feels. And how I watch him express what he doesn't say.
Right.